Hello and welcome to Future Fit Leadership. I'm your host, Sadna Smiles, and welcome to our Spotlight series where I speak with bold, curious, and forward thinking leaders about the world of leadership we're stepping into. These conversations are here to challenge, inspire, and remind you that the future of leadership is being shaped right now by leaders like you. Because let's be honest, we are the generation of leaders writing the new rules. Please enjoy my conversations in this Spotlight series. Joining us today is Elliott Dellys, who is a philosopher, founder of Forensis. His team pride themselves on delivering services that make cybersecurity a business enabler, not an obstacle. Elliott, welcome to our Spotlight series. How are you today?
I'm wonderful. Great to be back. Thank you.
I'm looking forward to asking these key questions around the future of leadership. So let's get into the first one. If you had to describe a future fit leader in just 3 words, the kind of leader we'll need most in the years ahead, what would they be and why?
The 3 words I'd pick would be visionary, resilient, and empathetic. And I'll describe each of them. So, visionary, the first thing is you can't inspire others to achieve something that you can't visualize yourself. This could be a better way of doing business, a way of empowering people, a way of driving growth, or best yet, a way to improve the world around us. But fundamentally, we need to have vision so we can inspire others to embrace change and take calculated risks. And the reason vision is so critically important as well is we need to be able to provide a strategic direction that enables our people to focus their technical and creative energy on meaningful and tangible goals. Sometimes it can be easy to set strategies that are wishy-washy or are difficult for people to understand. So you really need to have a clear vision, not only of where you want to get to, but also how you go from point A to B.
Mm.
Resilience is the second one. And a mentor of mine once said that the primary difference between a good and a brilliant leader is the ability to execute. And the older I get, the more true that seems. Because really, a great vision without an ability to execute is just idealism. So we need to be able to find a way to allocate time according to importance. And, as a CEO, it's so easy to get overwhelmed with all the little bits and pieces that can distract you. But juggling the million boring bits on the way to our big, hairy, audacious goal is really critically important. And not getting bogged down and not getting overwhelmed by that is critically important. The other component to this that I think, as we see in the world around us today, is not letting ego get in the way. Ego is the killer of good leadership. So being ruthlessly honest with yourself, learning from failure, recognizing when you have failed, and adapting quickly and pivoting strategies when needed is absolutely critically important. And that's what resilience is all about. But also fundamentally, of course, it provides psychological safety to the team so that they know that, you can handle the load and you can guide them when times get tough as well. And finally, empathy, I think, is absolutely critical. Yuval Noah Harari, one of my favorite philosophers, calls companies, like many other structures in the world around us, a collective myth. It's an intangible entity that only exists because other people believe in it. And so we need to recognize that's what our companies, that's what our businesses are. They are collective myths that are shared with our shareholders, our staff, our customers. So if you want people to believe in your collective myth, you need to lead with empathy. I would say I think EQ is arguably the most critical skill for a leader, and people are really good at seeing through false empathy as well. And I genuinely believe that when you care and when you deeply and personally and meaningfully care about your mission and what you're doing, then your people, your customers, they recognize this and they're inspired as a byproduct of that empathy rather than it being a trait that you try to manufacture.
3 really good ones, Elliott. I like those. The next one we've got is, what's one future shift coming in the next few years that you think most leaders are underestimating or not prepared for?
I thought long and hard about this, and it might be a bit cliche and it might be a bit tired, but I think it's impossible to not acknowledge the fact that rapid technological change is something that we are really not as prepared for as I think we'd like to think we are. We live in a very strange time in human history where technological development has massively outstripped our ability to evolve and for us to cognitively handle the pace of change. If we think, for example, about the evolution of communications technology and the time it took us to go from oral traditions to the written word to the printing press to radio to TV to mass communication system to social media and AI, this exponential growth in communication technology has transformed the way that we form communities and interact with other human beings, but our psychology is not really equipped for that rapid pace of change. So we've lost trust in a lot of institutions, and we're really starting to lose an ability to have a collective sense of truth. And it's rapidly being replaced with AI hallucinations and social media speculation. So I'd say, what future leaders need to be prepared for is a world where we can develop trust in an era where people inherently don't trust institutions, where we can make informed decisions in an era of uncertainty where we're flooded with misinformation and disinformation, and also how we gather people and collect people and guide them towards a collective sense of purpose in an increasingly polarized and disconnected world is a challenge that we really, really need to take seriously and have proactive strategies in place for. The other piece to this as well is the need for media and technical literacy that's well above our current level of maturity. We're really struggling to make sense of the world. And we see this in increasing geopolitical conflict, the rise of climate change and wealth inequality. This has made business ethics absolutely critical. I think, no longer can we rely on companies to simply adapt to the minimum standards that are set by government. We need companies and we need private organizations to be at the forefront of positive change. But I also think this creates an incredibly exciting possibility for us to set a corporate culture where we're driving towards a better future rather than simply exploiting the planet and the people around us.
Mm. What do you wish more leaders were paying a closer attention to?
I really think that it's important for us to think about what sort of world do we want to leave behind for future generations. I think the rise of wealth inequality is largely driven by societal pressures that make us inherently unhappy based on what our neighbours have that we don't. I think it's a really good time in human history for us to pause and reflect and go, what sort of world do we leave behind? Do we really want to be in the top 0.0001% of wealth, or do we want to be able to breathe our last breath knowing that we've left the world a little better than we found it?
Yeah, so true. What are the possibilities or shifts you see in the future of leadership or work that genuinely excites you and why?
So, the counterpoint to this massive technological change, of course, is access to talent and markets that are previously inaccessible. If you're familiar with this concept of the tyranny of distance, for a long time, people who are disconnected from major corporate centers and cities have always been left out. And so, this ability to no longer have distance, physical distance, as the demarcation line between the haves and the have nots is not only, of course, very, very exciting for the ability to potentially lift millions of people out of poverty, but also for organizations to do more with less, but also as well for us to discover a more healthy work life balance.
Mm.
It provides us an opportunity to challenge those norms and preconceptions about the role that business has in society to be able to create immense positive change through ethical business practices.
If you could embed one leadership quality into every current or future CEO, something that you believe will be essential for the next decade, what would it be and why?
It would have to be adaptability. I think adaptability is very quickly moving from something that we've traditionally seen as a differentiator, sort of the ability to fail fast and move quickly is the hallmark of the unicorn businesses that are able to move faster than anyone else, to something that's an absolute necessity. It ties into this fact that we live in an era of unprecedented technological growth, but also as well a rapid transformation of how we form communities and the way that societies interact with each other and the erosion of the borders of the nation state. I think what we see in the political realm around the rise of nationalism is an understandable knee jerk reaction to the fact that a lot of those traditional concepts of community are being eroded. So, being able to adapt to these changes in society and technological technological expectations of business is incredibly important. It also is important to recognize that there's a changing needs from the workforce as well. I mean, a very trivial example of this is the rise of work from home. It went from something that was sort of a niche possibility for a handful of businesses that during the COVID-19 pandemic became an absolute necessity. And now we see this real sort of tension between organizations that want to revert back to the good old days and the way that we traditionally used to work and interact with our workforces, to organizations that are trying to make the most of people being able to work from anywhere. So, being able to get the most out of your people without resorting to exploitation and being able to adapt to the changing needs of the workforce is one single example that I think is emblematic of a broader change that we see at the moment that demonstrates the critical importance of adaptability for leaders. And again, going back to this concept of an increasingly fractured and disconnected world, it also provides us an opportunity to be able to offer the ability to bring people together and provide a sense of purpose and community that previously was, I think, outside of the realm of business.
Elliot, thank you so much for being on Future Fit Leadership Spotlight Series. I love our conversations. I could talk to you all day, but we can't. I do thank you for your time and your insights.
It's my absolute pleasure, and I hope I didn't get too philosophical.
No, you were no. Well, we would expect a philosopher to be philosophical, wouldn't we? But no, you were spot on. You made some really, really interesting points. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Always a pleasure.
I hope you're enjoying our conversation. A quick word from our sponsor. Have you ever wondered how to attract, develop, and augment diverse leadership capability in your organization? Well, Future Leadership has a range of leadership solutions, including executive search, interim executives, leadership development programs, coaching, and workforce transformation specialists. They are an Australian-owned B Corp and one of very few globally accredited and connected talent solution firms. They are very proud of their 22-year history, bringing more diverse leadership to Australian decision-making tables. See the link in our show notes to get in touch with them. If you like what you've heard, please share, rate and review this podcast, and don't forget to share it with anyone who might benefit from hearing it. The producer of Future Fit Leadership is Maritza Barone from Guide Your Light Network. If you would like to reach out to me, please DM me on any of my social media platforms. I'm available for speaking at conferences or consulting to your business. Future Fit is created in partnership with Future Leadership, a capability ecosystem for boards and executives. If you'd like to join the community and receive a free takeaway each week, sign up to the Future Exchange app in my show notes. Thank you for having me in your space.